My crush kept complimenting my natural beauty, so I showed up to school without makeup to see if he'd still like me. I'd been doing a full glam routine every single morning for 6 months straight. We're talking full coverage foundation, concealer, contouring, highlight, false lashes, the works. My alarm went off at 5 a.m. just so I could transform myself before school started at 8. Everyone at Westfield High thought I was naturally gorgeous, including Josh Mitchell, the guy I'd been crushing on since sophomore year. He was captain of the soccer team, honor roll student, and had this perfect smile that made my stomach flip every time he looked at me. Josh would always say things like, "You're so lucky you don't need makeup like other girls," and "I love how fresh and natural you always look." Meanwhile, I was spending 2 hours every morning with YouTube tutorials playing on my phone, propped against the bathroom mirror, and I had a makeup collection worth more than my car. Like, I'm not even joking. I had 3 different kinds of setting spray alone. My bathroom counter looked like a Sephora exploded on it. The anxiety was absolutely eating me alive. What if he saw the real me? The girl with acne scars on my cheeks from picking at my skin freshman year, dark circles under my eyes from staying up too late, an uneven skin tone that no amount of color correcting seemed to fix permanently. And he completely lost interest. What if everything he liked about me was just an illusion I'd created with cosmetics and good lighting? I'd lie awake at night, wondering if our entire relationship, or whatever we had going on, was built on a lie. Were his feelings real, or was he just attracted to my makeup skills? Did he actually like me, or did he like the version of me I spent 2 hours creating every morning before the sun even came up? These thoughts would keep me up until like 2 a.m., and then I'd have to wake up at 5 to do it all over again. It was honestly exhausting. Last Friday morning, I stared at myself in the bathroom mirror for 20 minutes, mascara wand in hand, trying to work up the courage. My hand was literally shaking. Finally, I put it down. I washed my face clean with my usual cleanser, threw on some lip balm, tied my hair in a messy bun instead of the carefully styled waves I usually did, and walked into first period looking completely different. I felt naked, like everyone could see right through me. The moment Josh saw me, his smile literally faded from his face. Like, I watched it happen in real time. His eyes widened like he was seeing me for the first time, or like he just witnessed something shocking. He asked if I was feeling okay, if I was sick, if something was wrong at home. Not "you look nice" or "different look today," just immediate concern, like something must be terribly wrong for me to show up looking like this. Then he spent the rest of AP Chemistry avoiding eye contact. We usually sat next to each other and passed notes during Mr. Henderson's boring lectures about molecular structures. But that day, he moved his seat, actually moved it, dragged his chair like 6 inches away, and angled his body toward the window instead of toward me. During our usual walk between classes, he seemed distant and distracted. He kept checking his phone every 30 seconds and making awkward small talk about the homework for calculus, instead of our normal easy conversation about whatever random stuff we usually talked about. Usually he'd make me laugh by doing impressions of the teachers or telling me about something funny that happened at soccer practice. That day, nothing. Just, "Did you finish the problem set?" And "I think it's supposed to rain later." At lunch, I sat at our usual table in the corner of the cafeteria, my stomach in knots. I couldn't even think about eating. I'd brought leftover pasta from home, but it just sat there getting cold while I picked at the container with my fork. Josh showed up 5 minutes late, took one look at me, and suddenly remembered he had to study for a test he'd never mentioned before. He grabbed his sandwich and disappeared to the library after barely saying hello. Didn't even sit down, just stood there for like 10 seconds, looked uncomfortable, mumbled something about the test, and left. I felt absolutely horrible. My worst fears were confirmed. He only liked the made-up version of me, the carefully constructed illusion I'd been maintaining since September. I sat there, picking at my food, trying not to cry in front of half the school. The cafeteria was loud and crowded like always, everyone laughing and talking, and I just felt completely invisible and exposed at the same time. But then, something completely unexpected happened. Noah Yuan, this quiet guy from my advanced art class, walked over and asked if he could sit down. I'd barely ever talked to Noah before. He always sat in the back row, wore vintage band t-shirts for groups I'd never heard of, and spent most of class sketching in the margins of his notebook instead of paying attention to Mrs. Kim's lectures about color theory and composition. "You look really pretty today," he said, setting down his lunch tray across from me. Different from usual, but really pretty. More real, I guess. He had this soft smile and kind eyes, and I swear I almost started crying right there because it was the first nice thing anyone had said to me all day. We ended up talking talking for the entire lunch period. Not about typical high school drama or social media or who was dating who or any of that surface level stuff. We talked about art, music, books we'd read, places we wanted to travel, stuff I never got to discuss because I was always so worried about maintaining my perfect image and saying the right things, and being the girl everyone expected me to be. It was honestly refreshing. Noah told me he'd been wanting to talk to me for months, but always thought I was too intimidating and perfect. He said I seemed untouchable, like I lived in a different world from everyone else, like I was this glossy magazine person who wouldn't be interested in talking to someone like him. But today you seem more approachable, he said, stealing one of my grapes, like a real person instead of a magazine cover. Over the next few weeks, I started wearing less and less makeup. Some days full glam if I felt like it. Some days just mascara and lip gloss. Some days completely barefaced with my hair in a ponytail and my dad's old hoodie. It felt liberating, honestly, like I could finally breathe. Noah would always find me at lunch and we'd talk about everything and nothing. He introduced me to new music, showed me his sketchbook, told me about his family and his weird uncle who collected vintage typewriters. Josh barely acknowledged my existence anymore. We went from talking every day to him avoiding me in the hallways. He'd see me coming and suddenly remember he needed to stop at his locker or talk to someone going the opposite direction. It stung, but honestly, I was getting over it. If he couldn't handle me without makeup, he didn't deserve me with it. That's what I kept telling myself anyway. Noah integrated me into his life fast. Like, really fast. Meeting parents within 3 weeks fast. We'd only been hanging out for less than a month, and suddenly I was having family dinners at his house every Sunday. His mom would make these huge meals, like way too much food for 4 people, and his dad would tell the same stories about his college days that Noah had clearly heard a million times, but still laughed at. His mom was sweet, but kept calling me Jenny instead of my actual name. The first time it happened, I figured she just mixed me up with someone else. Second time, I thought maybe she wasn't great with names. When I corrected her the third time, she got all flustered and left the room. Like, literally just stood up and walked out mid-conversation. Noah laughed it off and said she was terrible with names. Always had been. Didn't mean anything by it. That night, I went to use the bathroom and saw the hallway photo wall. You know how some families have those gallery walls with like a million pictures in mismatched frames? Noah's family had one of those. Last year's Christmas picture showed Noah with a girl who had my exact haircut, wearing a sweater identical to one he'd bought me last week. Same color, same style, same everything. I literally had to do a double take because for a second, I thought it was me in the photo. But I'd never been to their house for Christmas. I looked closer at other photos and counted 4 different girls over 4 years, all with the same hair, same style, same smile, same way of standing next to Noah with their hand on his shoulder, same type of clothes, same vibe, same everything. It was like looking at different versions of the same person, different faces, but the same aesthetic, I guess. It was weird, really weird. I heard Noah's footsteps behind me, and when I turned around, he was holding the sweater I'd left on his couch with an expression that made my blood run cold. "We should talk," he said quietly, and something in his voice made my heart start racing. I followed him back to the living room, my mind spinning. The hallway suddenly felt too narrow, too crowded with all those pictures of girls who looked like me. His mom was in the kitchen doing dishes, and I could hear the water running and plates clanking together. Noah sat down on the couch and patted the spot next to him, but I stayed standing. "What's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Who's Jenny?" His face crumpled and he started crying, like actually crying. Tears running down his face, shoulders shaking, the whole thing. I'd never seen him cry before. "I'm so sorry," he said, his voice breaking. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted you to find out like this." I sat down then, because honestly, I didn't know what else to do. My legs felt shaky. "Find out what exactly?" He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand and took a deep breath. "Jenny was my first love. We dated freshman year and she was everything to me. We were planning our future together, talking about going to the same college, the whole deal. And then one day she just left. Her family moved across the country without warning. She didn't even say goodbye, just stopped answering my texts and calls. And then she was gone." "Okay," I said slowly. "That's rough, but what does that have to do with I've been unconsciously attracted to girls who remind me of her?" He interrupted, the words tumbling out fast now. "I swear I never realized I was doing it until right now, until you saw those photos and I had to actually face it. But it's not what you think, I promise. I really like you. You're not just some replacement." I wanted to leave. Every instinct was screaming at me to grab my stuff and get out of there. But he seemed so genuinely devastated and ashamed that I agreed to talk about it. He reached for my hand and I let him take it, even though something felt off. "This is actually a breakthrough moment for me," he said, his eyes intense and focused on mine. "Finally seeing my pattern means I can stop it, right?" Doesn't that mean something? Don't you want to be the girl who helps me become better? Who helps me move past this? And I don't know why, but that got to me. The idea that I could be the one to help him heal, to be different from all those other girls in the photos, to be special in a way that actually mattered. Josh had abandoned me over something as shallow as makeup, but Noah was being vulnerable with me, opening up about his pain and his patterns. That felt real. That felt like something worth staying for. I need some time to think, I told him. Of course, he said quickly. Take all the time you need. I really hope you'll give me a chance to prove that this is different, that you're different. Over the next few days, I noticed he kept accidentally bringing up things Jenny liked. We'd be walking through the mall and he'd point at a store and say, "Oh, they have great vintage band tees. Jenny used to love this place." And then catch himself and apologize. Or he'd be wearing a specific cologne, and when I asked about it, he'd mention that it was his favorite scent, the one he'd worn all through freshman year, and then change the subject really fast. When I pointed it out, he seemed so confused and apologetic that I started doubting whether I was being paranoid or if he was really just that unaware of what he was doing. "I'm sorry," he'd say, looking genuinely distressed. "I don't even realize I'm doing it. That's how deep this pattern goes. But I'm trying to be more aware. I'm really trying." One afternoon, I was venting to Josh about everything. We'd been texting a bit lately, nothing major, just him checking in occasionally. I told him I was still seeing Noah and trying to help him work through his issues. There was a long pause before his response came through. "That's not your job," Josh texted back. "You should just break up with him." I got defensive immediately. "So I should just give up on someone who's actually being vulnerable with me? Unlike you, who ghosted me over makeup? That's not fair," he wrote. "I was an idiot about the makeup thing, and I know it. But this is different. This guy has a pattern, and you're becoming part of it. That's not healthy. You don't know him like I do." I shot back. "He's working on himself. He's trying to change." "If you say so," Josh replied. "Just be careful." I didn't respond. Instead, I put my phone down and tried to focus on homework, but I couldn't concentrate. Deep down, I knew Josh had a point, but admitting that felt like admitting I'd made a mistake, and I really didn't want to be wrong about Noah, not after everything. A few days later, I found a text from a girl named Becca, asking Noah if the new one knows yet. It popped up on his phone while we were watching a movie at his house, and he'd gone to get us snacks. I know I shouldn't have looked, but something made me glance at the screen. When he came back with popcorn, I confronted him. "Who's Becca?" His face went tight for a second, before relaxing into a sad smile. "Oh, you saw that. Becca is an ex. She's bitter and trying to sabotage us because she also reminded me of Jenny and couldn't handle that she wasn't special. She wants to make me look bad because I broke up with her." "What did she mean by the new one?" "See, that's exactly what I'm talking about," he said, setting down the popcorn bowl. "She's trying to make it sound like you're just another girl in a line, but you're not. You're the girl who's helping me break the pattern. She's just jealous." It sounded reasonable enough. I wanted to believe him, but something was nagging at me. That night, I looked up Becca online. It took like 5 minutes to find her Instagram. I scrolled through her photos and felt my stomach drop. There she was, with the same haircut I had, the same style of clothes Noah had been buying me, the same everything. It was like looking in a mirror. I messaged her, pretending to be friendly, just a casual, "Hey, I saw you know Noah. How do you guys know each other?" She responded almost immediately. "Get out now, seriously. Get out while you still can." "What do you mean?" "He made me dye my hair," she wrote. "Threw out all my clothes and replaced them with stuff Jenny would wear. I thought I was helping him heal from this tragic lost love story, but he just kept finding new things that were wrong, new ways I wasn't exactly like her. It never stopped." My hands were shaking as I typed back. "Can you send me screenshots? I need to see what I'm dealing with." She sent me dozens. Texts from Noah critiquing tiny details. "Jenny always tucked her hair behind her left ear, not her right. And can you laugh quieter? It's not quite the same. And the way you say my name is too harsh?" She said it softer. I recognized the same energy from how he'd been gently suggesting things to me. The way he'd bought me that specific sweater. The way he'd mentioned that Jenny loved her coffee with 2 sugars, and had I ever tried it that way? I felt sick, actually physically ill. I ran to the bathroom and dry heaved over the toilet while my mom knocked on the door asking if I was okay. The next day, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I drove to the address I found for Jenny's mom on Facebook. It was listed as her childhood home, about 40 minutes away. I had no idea if Jenny would could even be there, but I had to try. When I knocked on the door, a woman in her 50s answered. I asked if Jenny was home, and she called upstairs. A minute later, a girl my age came down the stairs, and I saw immediately why Noah had been drawn to me. We could have been sisters. Same hair, same build, same features. It was honestly creepy. "Can I help you?" Jenny asked, looking confused. "This is going to sound weird, but I'm dating someone you used to know. Noah Yuan?" Jenny's face went pale, actually lost all its color. "He told you I moved away?" "Yeah, he said your family moved across the country without warning." "That's not what happened," she said, voice tight. "Come inside. You need to hear this." We sat in her living room, and she told me everything. I transferred schools because he wouldn't stop showing up at my house after I broke up with him. Every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. He'd leave notes on my car, send flowers to my classes, wait outside my part-time job. My parents almost got a restraining order. They were seriously considering it. We were talking to a lawyer and everything. But he said you were his first love, that you disappeared without saying goodbye. I broke up with him because he started buying me clothes I never asked for and got upset when I cut my hair. She interrupted. "I had long hair down to my waist and I cut it to my shoulders for swim team. And he literally cried. Told me I'd ruined everything. Said I looked like a stranger. We'd been dating for 4 months. She pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots she'd saved. After the breakup, he made fake social media accounts pretending to be me. He'd talk to himself, have whole conversations as me. I only found out when a mutual friend showed me the profiles months later. Look, the screenshots showed conversations between Jenny and Noah, except it was clearly him controlling both sides, talking about how much she missed him, how she regretted the breakup, how she wished he'd take her back. It went on for pages, hundreds of messages over months. I felt like I was going to throw up again. Oh my God. Get away from him, Jenny said firmly. I'm serious. This isn't something you can fix. This isn't a guy who needs healing. This is obsession. I drove home in a daze, my mind racing. When I got back, I looked at the sweater Noah had bought me that I was wearing right now and realized it was exactly like one in Jenny's photos from her Instagram, from before she cut her hair and broke up with him. I pulled it off like it was burning my skin and threw it across my room. Every gift had been a costume piece. Every suggestion had been molding me into someone I wasn't. I'd been letting him dress me up like a doll while thinking I was being a supportive girlfriend, while thinking I was special. But I was just the latest version of the same girl he'd been dating over and over again. I texted Noah that I needed space to think, not breaking up with him yet because I was honestly scared of how he'd react, but just asking for a few days to process everything. He immediately showed up at my house at 11 p.m. I heard his car pull up and looked out my window to see him getting out, and my heart started pounding. My dad answered the door, and I heard Noah crying, saying he couldn't lose me like he lost Jenny, that he'd die if I left him, that I was the only good thing in his life. My dad, who's usually pretty calm, firmly told him he needed to leave, and that showing up this late wasn't appropriate. Noah kept crying, kept begging to talk to me. Finally, my dad threatened to call the police if he didn't leave, and Noah went back to his car. But he didn't leave. He sat in his car outside for 3 hours, texting me that I was breaking his heart and he thought I was different from other girls who abandon people. The texts came every few minutes, long paragraphs about how much he loved me, how I was giving up on him, how no one understood him like I did, how he'd been so vulnerable with me, and now I was punishing him for it. I didn't respond to any of them, just watched my phone light up over and over while I sat in my dark room, feeling trapped and scared and stupid. At 2 a.m., Josh texted me. I just drove past your street on my way home from my shift at the restaurant. Is that Noah's car outside your house? Yeah, I wrote back. Are you okay? I started crying then. Actually broke down. I'm scared to break up with him because he's making it feel like I'm responsible for his mental health. And if something happens to him, it'll be my fault. Josh called me immediately. Listen to me, he said, his voice serious. My older sister dated a guy exactly like this in college. It only got worse until the guy showed up at her dorm so many times campus security banned him from the building. None of that was her responsibility. What Noah is doing right now, sitting outside your house, sending you those texts, that's manipulation. He's making you feel like the villain for having boundaries. But what if he does something? What if then that's on him, not you? Josh said firmly. You're not his therapist. You're not his savior. You're a 17-year-old girl who deserves to feel safe. Whatever he does or doesn't do after you break up with him is his choice, not your responsibility. We stayed on the phone until Noah finally drove away around 3 a.m. Josh kept me company, talking about random stuff to distract me, occasionally checking out his window to confirm the car was still there, then finally confirming it was gone. The next day, I sat in my room with my hands shaking, phone in hand. I typed out a clear breakup message. No room for interpretation, no softening the blow, just direct and final. Noah, this relationship isn't healthy for either of us. I need you to respect my decision and stop contacting me. We're done. Please don't text, call, or come to my house. I'm blocking you now. I hit send and immediately blocked him on everything without waiting for a response. Instagram, Snapchat, his number, everything. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. Part of me still felt guilty, like I was abandoning him when he needed help. But I knew if I read his reply, if I gave him even one more chance to explain or apologize or cry, I'd get sucked back in. The phone stayed dark, silent, and for the first time in weeks, I could finally breathe. Make sure to click on the screen to watch other stories.